Nigel, I suppose first things first, why vote no?
It's about this. Do you want to keep your own constitution or have a new European constitution that is superior to your own? I think we should be in a Europe where we trade with each other, cooperate with each other, but not hand power over every aspect of our lives to a court in Luxembourg and unelected bureaucrats in Brussels. It's just as simple as that.
And tell us about the leaflet. You're posting out, is it 1.5 million of them, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. You know, we're going through the post office and getting these leaflets out. We want there to be a proper argument for the no side that goes into every house. I mean, we're dwarfed by the Yes campaign. The Yes campaign is the government, the main political parties, the European Commission, and they're shoveling stuff out everywhere. We want to put it, to be a counterweight, to give people the arguments. Look, if you want to be a province of a new United States of Europe, you can go out and vote for this treaty. If you vote no, it'll mean a referendum in Britain. It will halt the project in its tracks and give us a chance to have a debate across the whole of Europe about what kind of European Union do we want. And I think in a democracy, that would be a very good thing to do.
Now, you said earlier this isn't just a bunch of foreign MEPs getting involved, but isn't that exactly what it is?
No, far from it. Look, you have got commissioners. You've got Mr Barroso coming this weekend. You've had hundreds of MEPs, European Parliament officials, Commission officials, touring around your schools and colleges, telling you what to do. I mean, look, most of your laws now, of course, are made by people in the institutions.
But they're not
the
posting
European
1.5 million leaflets out. Surely aren't you undermining Irish democracy?
What we're doing, of course, is a mere drop in the ocean compared to the amount of literature that the Yes campaign are putting up. And just driving through Dublin today, everywhere you go, there are EU-funded posters stuck on lampposts. What we are trying to do is to redress the balance and to say to people in Ireland, when you vote on the 2nd of October, you're not just voting for Irish democracy, you're voting for democracy for 500 million people across the whole of Europe, because we've been denied the opportunity to have a referendum by our deceitful governments, but it's because you've got your own good, strong constitution that at least you've got a chance to speak for all of us.
Do you think the Irish people want your involvement?
I don't know. Do they want Mr Barroso's involvement? I mean, do they want the involvement of anybody? I mean, what we are doing is making an argument. Now, I've had thousands of emails from people in Ireland, some saying, go back to where you came from, and others saying, thank goodness somebody is here making an argument about Irish independence and Irish democracy. Nothing you do in politics or life can be universally popular, but I do think, from a democratic point of view, that we are fulfilling a very important role.
A lot of Irish people won't want to hear this, but what is your message to the Irish electorate before October the 2nd?
Well, the message is, don't listen to your politicians. They're not telling you the truth. The guarantees you've been given are not worth the paper they're written on. This is the EU constitution. It's the one the French said no to. It's the one the Dutch said no to. It's the one that you said no to. Please, please, don't be bullied into voting for something that you really don't want.
How does it feel to be bedfellows with Sinn Féin in this campaign?
Well, it's funny, isn't it, with politics, when Mr Adams says that he wants Ireland to be self-governing and to be independent, how can I argue against any of that? So both the yes and no side do have some strange bedfellows. The one difference is that we are fighting on the facts of what is in this document, and what they are doing is sinking to the gutter. All they can do is to throw abuse at my group in the European Parliament and the fact we're here making some arguments for people to vote no.
Final question, what have you made of your welcome here today so far?
Well, I mean, I've come to Ireland many, many times, mostly on business in the past, and always been very welcome here. I'm afraid
Not today, though.
I'm afraid that Dick Roach and one or two people like that have done their best to descend into the gutter and to throw abuse at our group and at parties like UKIP, saying we're a racist party and all the rest of it, and trying to stir up protests against us. I've never in my political life experienced anything like it. We are a completely non-racist, non-sectarian party. We have many black and Asian candidates that stand for us in the United Kingdom, and it just goes to show how worried the Irish government are. They can't win the arguments, so they have to sink to abuse.
Speaking of racism, you've been accused of being racist by using a picture of a turkey when talking about Turkey's accession to the EU. Is that racist?
I mean, come on, we put a turkey on the leaflet for a joke, for goodness sake. I mean, isn't just a little bit of humour allowed in politics every now and again? The idea that a picture of a turkey is racist is quite beyond my mental capabilities.
Well, the no side was also out in force today with a visit by the controversial leader of the UK Independence Party, Nigel Farage. He's behind a leaflet being sent out to over 1 million Irish households.
No to UKIP, our referendum!
There was a lively reception waiting for Nigel Farage in Dublin today as opponents and supporters verbally clashed. The leader of the UK Independence Party was in Dublin to launch a leaflet being posted to 1.5 million Irish households. It calls for a rejection of the Lisbon Treaty and has been heavily criticised as meddling.
Do you think the Irish people want your involvement?
I don't know. Do they want Mr. Barroso's involvement? I mean, do they want the involvement of anybody? I mean, what we are doing is making an argument. Now, I've had thousands of emails from people in Ireland, some saying, go back to where you came from, and others saying, thank goodness somebody is here making an argument about Irish independence and Irish democracy.
There's some strange bedfellows in the no camp. Across town, Sinn Féin was launching its alternative guide to Lisbon. Gerry Adams didn't sound too thrilled with being on the same side as Mr. Farage.
Do you feel he's interfering in Irish democracy by coming over here, by posting his own 1.5 million of his own leaflets?
I wouldn't censor anyone in any of these matters, but what I would say is this: I have great confidence in the sophistication of Irish people to make their own minds up on these issues and not to be distracted by others.
Distraction or not, Nigel Farage says his intervention is no different to foreign politicians campaigning on the yes side.
So whether you like it or not, you'll be receiving one of these leaflets in the post in the next few days. Nigel Farage says he will return to Ireland before the referendum. When we asked him why, he said you'll just have to wait and see. Whatever the reason, there's sure to be similar scenes to this when he does return.